All right, so this is the CBN, the Conspiracy Broadcasting Network, series 119. I am going to be showing you my encounter with the city police this evening regarding my neighbor and the permissive neglect, the um, the neglect of, I guess, city ordinance, which they allow unleashed dogs. They allow excretion of dogs. Apparently, they don't want to enforce any ordinance, and they're allowing the dog to do whatever he wants, basically. So, long story short, this is the video of. There's two. One is going to be where two sergeants show up and I have the dialogue with them. And the next one is going to be after they left. I had the dog come up to my porch and in my sidewalk, and my dogs are scratching up the front door and the glass trying to get to it, right? Destroying more damage to my property, right? And this dog continues to shit in the yard, and I've got to mow the yard, okay? And then I've got to deal with picking up his dog's shit. Put yourself in my shoes. And then at the same time, they're making sure that I'm oppressed. They're making sure that you're emasculated at all times. And they're making sure that they give you what I call reciprocal communication, which is you'll hear in their dialogue, they say, I'm not going to do anything at the end. So this is what they try to echo. It's called reciprocal dialogue, and reciprocal dialogue is they're having the conversation, but the conversation is bouncing back to you indirectly. What they say is what you're going to do, basically, right? And so it's an art. There's a little bit of an art to it. But if you listen to Cooper at the second video at the end, he's basically saying that he's not going to do anything. And it's not that he's basically saying it. He's saying he's not going to do anything. And it's crazy because that 40 minutes before he arrived again for the second time, the dog was in the yard. And they don't care. I have video and whatnot. I have in the notes that the neighbor Gary wants to write back to me saying that he doesn't care. He's going to allow it anyways. And so the police are going to allow it. Here we go. Here's the video. So I'm going to hit screen share. And I'm going to walk off and just play and let it play. I'm just going to let it play. And real quick, I just want to say that this is what you have to live with. So imagine having to live with this, right? And they're trying to do whatever it takes to be permissively neglectful. And you're mowing the yard, being a responsible person. You like your stuff, your upkeep nice and neat. And at the same time, they're trying to make you depressed and give you more anxiety and more irritation when you're trying to do upkeep of your yard, right? You're trying to do nice things with the plants. You're trying to do nice things with the yard. You're trying to mow the yard weekly. And then you have assholes out here who are deliberately undermining what you're doing, right? This dog is coming in. He's pissing and killing the shrubs. He's pissing on the carpet, okay? He's shitting in the yard and creating spots in the yard, right? And at the same time, it's a hazard for the puppies that I'm raising because they don't know any better and they're trying to lunge out the door when I'm trying to let them outside, okay? And one of them has a behavioral issue and she likes to fight, full-blown fight. Matter of fact, she punctured the forearm of one of my older dogs a week ago, and I had to bandage her up. Luckily, it was, although relatively superficial, it was still a puncture wound that was weeping, okay? And it put my other dog out for at least, I would say, 2 days to 3 days before her limp started to get better. But it was a full-blown puncture wound. So That's the problem, and they don't care. These people don't care, and this is exactly what I don't understand, because this community is supposed to be all about policing other citizens, and this is how their behavior reflects through the campaign. Is they're going to allow another neighbor to allow them to unleash the dog, to allow them to excrete on the property of a private citizen, and they're going to allow anarchy. And this is what happens. Okay, this is what happens. You're going to hear it firsthand.
Your officer was referencing section or title 13, but that's cruelty to animals. He also mentioned something about training and stuff like that. Situation is basically I've known Gary since about 2023. I noticed he had gotten a puppy about a year and a half ago, basically, and he's been growing just fine, handsome dog. And then he comes over and he poops in my yard, but he's been doing it 3-4 times a week. And back in the whole time since he's owned it, and in March 7th, I gave him a little letter, and your officer has a copy of it, and he acknowledged that. And then I asked him if he could, just manage his dog, and I said I manage my dog and everything, and he acknowledged. And then on August 23rd this year, I pushed him another letter with citing the Birmingham Ordinance here, Title 6, Chapter 1, 6-1-15, execution of dogs. And it says it shall be unlawful for the owner or person having charge or control of any dog, in which he does have charge and control, and he has done so for the past year, to allow such a dog to defecate upon private property of others, or on any public street, public right-of-way, sidewalk, pathway, park, pedestrian way, or public facility, or any school ground. Okay, and your officer cited 13 for some reason, which is cruelty to animals. A person commits a crime of cruelty to, which is not what I reported, and that's on record. I reported this, the ordinance, as well as harassment, and if it doesn't stop, second-degree stalking, because he's acknowledged it and wrote some type of dialogue regarding your relationship to me, that I could call the police because you guys know what I do. That's on his paper bag. I get a copy of it, right? Where is he? Show it. Can you fabricate that for us?
Can I fabricate it?
Yeah, you leave it. Are you moving another copy for you?
Sure, I haven't.
All right. Yeah, let's pull that out. I don't know what that's about, but apparently he told me that I should call the cops because you guys know what I do.
What do you do?
I don't know. That's why I called you. What do I do?
Put stuff in your vehicle?
What's that? No.
Put stuff in your vehicle?
No. I put this on his front porch, and then he put that note on my front porch. Okay. This is the second time though I've asked him, and I wrote him the little letter here. Basically, the situation is the dog continues to defecate 3-4 times a week, but he's also peeing in my Fuji greens, and he killed 5 of them. It's like $100. They're shrubs I'm trying to grow. And so I got 5 of them in the back that are dead. And then he's acknowledged this. And then he just says that I should call the police because you guys know what I do. And he just lets the dog continue to do this 3-4 times a week. And it's not like hearsay because I've got a bunch of pictures and I got cameras all over the place. So I got him literally defecating 1 day ago, 48 hours ago, and like 72 hours ago. And 3-4 times a week. Killing, putting spots in the yard from his poop, peeing on my carpet on the porch. All that stuff. And so he feels that because you guys know me and what I do, which I don't know, you guys haven't ever contacted me, but I have a list of concerns in the past civilly. But regarding this concern, that has nothing to do with it. And your deputy here, Cooper, says 13 has something to do with it, which that's not what I reported on record. I reported this. This is the ordinance.
What I said was we would put a charge, if we were put a charge on it, would be Title 13, which is the state law, and I was saying that there was no Title 13 charge that was on it. So that was where I was setting the.
I don't know anything about Title 13, so I don't even know what I was talking about. I just was concerned about borderline basically harassment because I've asked him to stop way back in March. He continues to do it. I asked him August 23rd, as on record, he continues to do it. And now we're here picking up his poop. And I come outside occasionally, walk the dogs, I'm stepping in his poop. I mean, it's just,
I would recommend documenting any kind of communication you have with them.
it is.
And
Okay.
just continue to do so.
Yeah.
So if there is a case for harassment, you can get a case for it, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any video footage of
I do.
the dog?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
I do. I have a lot of pictures. Yeah, this ain't hearsay. This is like,
No, I believe you. I just saying it's for court purposes.
Mhm.
If you need to provide proof, you'll be able to.
right.
All right.
Which I don't think, I mean, based off of his narrative there, I don't think there's a lot to like work off anymore other than the pictures. I mean, you see what he wrote, you see the letters that I gave him. So I'll be calling next week to see what this comes about. But I'd like to report to let it be known that I'm trying to take this seriously. I talked to Cooper that it's strange that you guys have the campaign, Thurman trying to push the campaign that Birmingham citizens should be good stewards of the community, and then whenever we're making reports like this, it's handled really light, and then it continues. The problem with this is has not been going on for months. This has been going on for over a year. This isn't just a weekly occurrence. This is a whole year. I'm coming out and cleaning over the back of this dog. He's peeing on stuff. He's destroyed things. So we have vandalism now at this point, and so that's the problem. It's not like this happened in a week. It's not happened over a month. This has been going on for over a year, and I've already vocalized, and he has already acknowledged, and he is basically disrespecting me by writing me back that he doesn't care. And that's right there on evidence for you. With pictures, if you like, I can go get that.
Remember, you got to
In video.
do you have previous reports written in the situation?
Yeah, there's 2 letters. One was back in March.
No, he thought you had any police reports.
No, well, yeah, back here. And like I said, this is a strange occurrence too, because your officer, when I moved here, he addressed the problem with the neighbor back there. And that's on my record. And you're a CAD. There should be record of the officer coming on 2 occasions, I believe, and addressing it with them. For some reason, this gentleman, you guys are not addressing any of that. And you're just taking it at face value, saying that I should prepare for court, which is strange to me. It's like a different process procedure. And I actually have more evidence here.
What was the issue with the neighbor behind you?
It's the same thing, excretions, throwing trash and letting the dog roam around constantly, dig holes in the back. He was coming right over. Same thing. It's the same thing. Public nuisance, excretion of dogs. Same thing. Except this time I actually have more
So this
experience.
is
I
what
have
they'll do,
more
is while you're while you're having dialogue, number one, they'll talk you down and they'll question you. What was that? Huh? I can't hear you.
I'm getting
It's the same dialogue.
13A for some reason. But I'm just not really looking at that. I'm just kind of looking at basic Title 6, Chapter 1, 6-115, excretion of dogs. It says he does have control of it. And I've been dealing with this for over a year. So it says defecating upon private property of others. So that's my private property.
Okay. We will document it. We'll try to make contact. We already have this information. I got you for that.
Okay.
You the case for you. Yeah.
And if you could please, because there's been some type of disconnect for some reason, I've had significant spoliation of evidence in my concerns for the past over a decade or so. For some reason, my reports are not being made to go into the records department. So when all this is settled and the dust is more, for some reason, I called and there was only 2 records for some reason in the records department in the city, but I know I have more than that. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that, but there's been spoliation of evidence through my electronic systems, any device with Wi-Fi. And so I'd like to make sure that when I call back, perhaps in a couple weeks, that it's verified that I have this on official record.
So on the back of the card, you did have here 1710 First Avenue North.
That's what precinct? Is that precinct?
No, that's
So these people want to put you in a situation.
If you have any issues, contact those precincts. People myself or Sergeant Smith.
Okay. I think Cooper's the one that filled this out. So what's the game plan for the next, 7 days? What do I need to do?
On your end,
Yeah, because I'm just tired of picking it up and everything, removing it.
if you have any issues, let us know. If you come back over, keep all your documentation. Keep any videos you have. Keep any images you have.
Okay. Well, when do you want me to? Do you want me to keep them or do you want me to send them?
Just keep them for now.
Okay, then I'll keep the letters then. I don't want to, because I like a chain of custody, because I've noticed that the entropy of my evidence,
Okay.
there's a lot of entropy of evidence for some reason. So if that's what you want me to do, and then you want me to fabricate that just on the next call, the pictures and the SD cards. I've given SD cards before with pictures and video, and it just disappears. I've given you guys that on certain calls in the past, and then the whole SD card just disappears for some reason.
My advice, if you do give us anything in the future, keep the original copy.
Okay.
Give us a copy of it. That way you always have it.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
All right. I'm sure I'll call him next week, and then I'll just make sure to address it. And I'll have an SD card. Is that what you want? Or you're going to go to CVS and get you nice little printed pictures of his poop?
Honestly, you can even email it.
Email it? Okay. All right. Is there any way to make correspondence like that officially, so I don't have to keep calling you out here? I appreciate that. Is there any way to just call
It's better to have somebody come out.
and email? Okay, come on.
Yeah, somebody come out.
Is that how it works too? Is if you don't come out, then you don't get a report? Is that how it
No,
works?
so they will do some reports with the phone, but it's always better to have somebody lay eyes on it.
I'm glad you told me that, because I've made calls before and they say, well, if we didn't come out, then we don't get a report. So I've been told that before.
When will you told that?
I've been told that in Homewood.
What? Oh, we can't speak for home.
Okay.
Because they have a different protocol than we do.
Okay.
With us, we have that option. All right?
All right.
If you have questions, let us know.
All right. It was Johnson, Cooper, and Smith. And you're the Sergeant Smith? Yeah, Sergeant. All right. Thank you. All right.
Okay, that concludes. That's actually the second video because Cooper was the initial respondent deputy, and then I told him after he was trying to give me this spiel about he can't do anything because Gary didn't train him to do that. Like all of this weird dialogue that has nothing to do with the city ordinance, nothing. I have no clue. He went off on this tangent about Title 13 and state law and all this other stuff. I have no clue. So, long story short, this is what you get a lot, which is a lot of disinformation and a lot of smokes and mirrors. You're going to hear in there too that when I said the word fabricate, can you fabricate? You're going to hear a lot of like questioning, like your jargon and what you're saying isn't functional. Like they're going to talk to you like you're an alien. They're going to listen to you and they're going to say, huh? They're going to say, what's that? They're going to do things that are literally there to just aggravate you. Literally. Like that's it. Literally. Okay. So now we're going to go to the last video with Cooper, where I called the second time. Okay, this is the second time he responded, an hour later, because when they left, those three.
Cooper, hey, listen. The court's for you, the court's for me. And
I'm going to play it back. So I left. He left. We were in the house. All of a sudden, I've got to pull my dogs off the front door. They're scratching the door when I open it, beating up the glass, literally. And there's the freaking dog, the neighbor's dog, is on the porch in the front walkway, standing there broadside. And my dog, my new puppy, doesn't know any better, is trying to like run out there and tear this dog's leg off. But she doesn't know that's not going to work for her because she'll get her leg teared off. So it's a liability, okay? He doesn't care. Listen to what he says.
Cooper, hey, listen. The court's for you, the court's for me. And here's how we're going to work this. You got 7 days to figure something out with his dog. I've got video right here. You guys just left. Here's me trying to let my dog out in my own yard. I got 2 dogs. I'm raising 2 puppies right now. Okay. His dog is right here on the sidewalk. And they're beating up my front door, scratching it all up. Okay. Trying to get to his dog. Okay. And he's out here at 8:24. Literally 15, 20 minutes after you guys left, maybe 30 minutes after you guys left. I opened my front door and my dogs are right here. I got cameras all over the property. So how is this right? I don't understand. This has nothing to do with Title 13. has everything to do with a dog loose, and I've got damaged property already. I've got now dogs tearing up my front door, and I can't even let my dogs out on a leash on my own property. This has been going on for over a year.
Okay. Have you thought about a fence?
What does that have to do with the ordinance? He's in control of the dog. It's his dog. He's not to be excreting on my property. I have puppies who are aggressive towards him. They don't want him on the property. So if one of them had gotten loose, then we have vet bills or something going on, probably someone getting in a fight, and then we have issues. So I guess the question comes down to how many times are we going to have to get this on video, this dog of his, literally minutes after you guys left, in the yard. This is it right here.
So, I mean, nothing's changed since the last time we came out, as far as facts go. This all just is adding up to your case for civil court, because this is a civil matter.
Okay, so it's not public ordinance, it's not 6-1-15, excretion of dogs.
Right,
It's not,
so
it's not that?
if you go to civil court and they award that to you, then that is something worth pursuing.
Okay,
But that's something I cannot pursue.
okay. So you're saying there's nothing criminal going on here, it's perfectly fine to let his dog run loose?
There's a difference between perfectly fine and criminal.
Right.
So right here, we're in that gray area.
Well, how long do we have to let this happen? Because the thing is I've got 2 puppies too. That's the thing. And it's just like now they're scratching up my door.
Right.
Okay. And I can't let my dog out the front yard here.
All right. So
And then he's gonna insult me with I don't care. That's what his insult is on paper.
criminally, there's nothing I can do unless we can prove that he trained them to do this.
Train them?
Criminally, there is nothing I can do unless that happens.
Train a dog?
Strongly encourage.
Hold on, what rule is it? What law is that? You train them. You train him to go and shit on someone else's property? That's what I have to. That's the cause of
be able
action.
to find him liable for anything his dog does.
It doesn't say that in the law. It doesn't say anything about that.
I mean, you're free to disagree,
Okay.
but I'm just telling you what I can do, and what I cannot do. We just came out here about an hour ago. We kind of explained nothing's changed since then.
Okay.
So we're still exactly where we were.
Okay.
I'm not going to say it's right, but I'm going to say there's nothing I can.
Why is it you're not doing anything, but the officers a year ago did a lot of
Because
things?
I'm not them. I don't know what that incident was. I don't know the outcome of that incident. All I can tell you is what's happening now and what I can do now.
Okay, so even though you have evidence right here, you're not going to do anything. I have evidence right here on my cell phone.
It's not that I'm not going to do anything. It's that I can't do anything.
You cannot do anything.
Correct.
Gotcha. All right, thank you.
See? So this is called reciprocal. And this is called reciprocal conversation. And this is very common every single time these police officers use this permissive neglect. Even if I were to rewind the hands of time in February 19th, they'll use the same thing. Even if you listen on February 19th, I think I played it long enough towards the end where my bob lob became dislodged from my body and it was rolling on the concrete. And when they picked it up, they threw it inside and it remained on until the tow truck, even through the tow truck drive. And you hear the officer literally play into the theatric, literally a movie, play into it and say, I think he was on drugs. And so they will talk to you face to face while this is all going on. And they will have these conversations. They know there's wrongs going on. And then they're going to say something like that, like there's nothing you're going to do. There's nothing that I'm going to do. And so what you're going to hear is when he says that, every time they say stuff like that, it feels like they're saying it to you, meaning there's nothing that you're going to do. That's kind of how it feels. And I call it reciprocal. I call it reciprocal conversation or echoing conversation, basically. And these police officers and other people in the conspiracy who are basically blatantly using the permissive neglect, and they love for you to read and be right. That's the best part of the abuse. That's the best part of the program, is that they love for you to be absolutely 100% correct. And then what they'll do is they'll tell you you're wrong. And they're waiting for that to happen. And they know that that's part of the psychological stress. And they know that using that psychology as a weapon. Okay. So they know that you're right. Everyone knows you're right. And then they tell you you're wrong. And that's how this program has ran for over 10 years, for over 11, 12 years now, going on 12 years. That's how this is ran. Okay. Everyone knows you're right. You are right. And then what they'll do is they'll tell you you're wrong. And they play off of it and emasculate you until you either react in a negative fashion or you just ignore it altogether. And then they get away with the narcissistic abuse. And that's how this whole program has worked my entire adult life. And so this is going to conclude 119. And the next one will be probably before I get into the North Precinct and the private citizen's arrest. I kind of want to go on a tangent. And tomorrow I'm going to just go try to get a hold of a magistrate and see what we can fabricate before going to court, because typically they like to do that. They'll have a hearing before going to court to see if you can just stop the whole process before moving forward. And so I might as well just go ahead and try to operate in that fashion, because I'll reference Title 15, which says I'm allowed to do certain things if it's a public offense, and I'm allowed to bring such to a magistrate's attention. And I'm going to let them know I spoke to the sergeant, this, that, and the other thing. So I'm going to just do the 7-day deal, which I found they probably won't say anything to him. And it's going to continue because Cooper's not going to do anything. Even the sergeant said they're not going to do anything. They just want me to continue to keep evidence. No, I'm fine. I've got enough. And so tomorrow, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to call the magistrate. That's going to be the next video. So we're going to go on a tangent. And I might even put T, like 119 DT for a tangent, and bring it off to this evening scenario and then come back. And that's how my life is you can't just maintain the course. You can't just go and achieve an objective without having all of this entropy and all of this deviation. You just never know. It's like you can't even be in the safety of your own home without shitheads doing something around your yard or some type of harassment or vandalism. And I called for the same problems the very first year I moved here, when the dog behind me and the neighbor behind me let this huge, like, doodle looking dog tear through the yard, making trails and everything, digging holes, bringing in like dead, decaying animals and all this other stuff, making it like the most disdain and distasteful place, like to mow the yard. And then I've got to call them multiple times to address it. It's the same thing, but all of a sudden this guy is not about it. I don't know if it's because it's nighttime. I don't know, but I have this feeling it's because he knows something, that he's been told something. And at this point in the game, I have so many reports and so many things that I've addressed that they're probably just purposefully using permissive neglect. It wouldn't surprise me, because I have so many complaints regarding the entire county at this stage in the game. Plus, I know they're very aware of the vlog itself and the channel. Wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. And this is all a derivative of this campaign using this technology of crowd influence and crowd control, right? And when I asked them about the narrative that the neighbor Gary wrote to them, saying that he could do whatever he wants because we know what you do, call the police because we know what you do. And you heard me ask, well, what is it that I do? I didn't give you permission to track me. I didn't give you permission to go through my electronics. I didn't give you permission to use whatever technology and intrude my privacy. And privacy is implied through amendments 7 and 9 or something like that, or 139 and something else. But this is Amendment 14, right? Which is obviously the unequal protection of the law, because you're using this technology and you've been using it for over 2 decades. For decades, you've been using it on me, right? And you're using crowds of people to set you up in these psychosocial events, and then you want to work on them and browbeat somebody based off of what you groomed them through, right? It's so stupid. And at the same time, you're keeping tabs on all the actions that everybody's doing. But let me ask you, is like, are you targeting all the other people that you have a problem with? I mean, the list goes on. And so there's all this unequal double standard stuff going on, intertwined in here. And all of this is a derivative of a campaign that they've initiated through crowd influence and crowd control. And this is what I'm talking about on this channel. Always a symphony, always an orchestra, always a soap opera, right? I could just sit here and relax, and instead I've got to continue down this road of nonstop entropy, dealing with this neighbor and the police. This is 119 Conspiracy Broadcasting Network, series, I believe, D, and we're gonna call it The Tangent.